To start the meeting, I'm going to record it. Darlene told me I should record this, and I guess
Yep.
town boards are. So we're now recorded and we're in session. It says 10:07. So we'll record it as that as a starter meeting. So anyway, just a quick background. John had sent a couple emails. I'm not sure if you saw them, Miranda, but first one was to talk about the number of children that we currently have or expected to have in and around the town. It's not just, and just to say, we have numbers from the school, and we don't have projected numbers for next year. We're still gathering that for kindergarten starts. But as far as kids under 18 or so, or at college age and down, because Park, this playing fields have been used. I think I mentioned in random, summertime soccer games and families showing up to play softball or baseball or just kick frisbees around or whatever. So there's over 320 kids of college age down to the few we know that are in preschool and so on, John. So I would say that's probably our target number. People, and including, obviously over the summertime, we get a lot of summer folks that come up here. I've met a bunch of them, because of living near the school, kind of meet them that are here for a couple months in the summer or a month or so, and they bring their children up and they're down the playground all the time. So I'd say it's probably upwards of 350 to 375 that we would say is about our maybe target audience. But then there's adults too, come down and kick around. And if one of the things that, John mentioned is, John asked about is the genesis. I think, Miranda, we talked a little bit about the genesis of the playing field. The actual, grounds are owned by, outside of the playground, right behind the school. Everything else down, the baseball fields, both the middle school and all the other softball and baseball fields are all technically are actually owned by Kent School. Rented $1 a year or something, John, I guess really is. But about 2 years ago, Kent School again came to us and said, they've been doing maintenance and baseball, and they've been fertilizing and treating the fields like once a year, along with all the other fields at the Kent School. And they felt that it was time to make a cut and turn that over to us. So in the previous discussions, John, that I've had with Bruce Adams for many years, was always who is in charge of what. And normally we ended up pooling some money together and fixing the baseball field. And that was who owned the infields, basically who maintained the actual ball fields themselves, not the playing field, not the outfield grass, if you will, but the infields of each of the sports teams. So we went back on that. So we kind of, I guess it came to a head again last year, a year plus ago, when we were looking at the budget, when Kent School said they couldn't do anymore. And that's when we sat down with Bruce Adams, I think John and myself and a couple other people off and on with Leslie, and kind of came up with the idea that it's time for the town to take over, make them playing fields and own them, and budget. So the budget monies went in to redo the infield, and then put some money into doing the actual playing fields, the outfields, if you will, where soccer fields are played by the town and by the school, by our kids in the town itself. So this is kind of where we are, I think. John, unless you have anything else to add, I think that's my.
No, I didn't know what Miranda knew, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, sure. No, good point. So anyway, so now our discussion, the first order is discussion of the Kent Plainville Conditional Development of recommendations for the scope and sequence, kind of like what John, you've been working on, and Miranda mentioned about it. What are we going to do? What's the scope of our playing field involvement, and how do we want to sequence this? And then at this point, then I think move to the third thing, item here, which is discussion of the budget, what we have as a budget, and what the recommendation for the contractor support is. Leslie had sent, did we want to contact the, that company that have been doing the infields and so on. So I'm going to stop there. And John, you got a lot of experience on, and I know that was a part of the equipment shed, just repairing or replace or just, upgrading the area around it, whatever. So if you want to chime in here, and we'll start with you.
Well, that shed that you were talking about is repairable. It's just that every time I repair it, somebody's always vandalizing it, a bunch of kids. So we need to maybe Brady might want to donate some time and just put the staples back on the roof for now until we can move further ahead. And it's just this minor stuff. I can't get to it right now. I don't know when I'll be able to, but it's just, and then we have to lift it up because the groundhogs made a home out of it underneath, so.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Well, the flooring is solid. There's no, I mean, it's that, it's really good. I mean, there's plenty of air getting through there right now, but I mean, it's just, and I painted it and I've put up the trim and it looks like somebody tore down the trim. So I had somebody take some pictures, but
Mhm.
yeah, just need some minor work on it and it'd be fine for now. We do own that other shed, right, Marty? That other one next to the ball
Yeah, it's
field?
a Kent School or Kent Center School. It's a Kent Center School shed, yeah. But that's used,
Okay.
I think, sometimes by some equipment or some things are borrowed out of it by the town as well. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
right.
it's a community-owned shed, and that's in a little better condition. I've worked on that. John, I just want to chime in. I, walk, like I said, walk at least 2 to 3
You walk
times a
every
day
day,
by
yeah.
that shed. A lot of that shed is actually banged up by the wind, not by kids monkeying around down there. Because especially in the wintertime, in the springtime, I can tell if there's footprints down there, and it's normally myself with Leo or Kathy Mazza with Sheila, and it's the only prints that are down there for the longest time. I don't see kids down there too often, but I do see the wind. So I don't know. Again, if you want to try to do the repair, probably something needs to be looked at how do we improve the wind action on that, because that the minute it busts through that, it knocks those doors around and breaks those trim off. I know you had the trim off, I know, but some of that is just wind grabs it, and I get some wicked wind down there, as you could imagine. So
Yeah.
but it's up
So-
to
I just have a couple comments. There's 2 sheds. I think, John, you were saying the other shed is KCS shed.
the green one.
Okay. So I guess my question is, what are we storing in both of these sheds? I mean, do we have to keep them separate? Can we consolidate? Do we need both of them? I know maybe having one farther down the fields is beneficial, so you don't have to go. And then, maybe in the future we look at cost of replacing the shed, and then maybe we look at the numbers for what we need to do to fix it, and compare those two over a few years and see what we're looking at. And maybe, I don't know if we need to get something heavier duty for if we think there is some vandalism going on, at least the doors or something. I know I think with today's technology, I think that if we wanted to, and I don't know what the protocol is with disposing of, city property, but I think someone would take that shed and use it for something if we wanted to get rid of it. If at when it comes time to get rid of it, we might be able to do that. But yeah, I think it would be wise to look at a new shed if we think we need a shed, and just compare that price with continual maintenance.
Well, here's what we store in there. We store the Little League, T-ball fencing. That's basically all we have in there, and a few odds and ends. So it's not like it's high priority stuff that's stored in there. So,
Okay.
right. And the other thing is, I mean, where do we place that on? That's not a top priority that I believe in. But the fields are more important than anything else.
I agree. So if there is vandalism, do we just think that it's just kids being bored? Because obviously there's nothing in there that they would be wanting.
Right. It's basically that. I mean, we've had some vandalism up at Emery Park, smashed windows. They threw the picnic table into the pool.
Always such good fun throwing things into.
A 300-pound table that I built myself. They threw it into the pond. So at the swimming pool. So I mean, it's just kids they got a lot of free time on their hands right now. So
Yeah.
I don't think.
Go ahead, John.
No, you go ahead.
I would just say the one nice thing about at least where the playing fields are behind the school is the school is on surveillance, and so if there was something to happen, we could look around. Obviously we can go back. There's cameras that look down that far. I'm not sure how close they'd be to pick out. Some people say they can actually see up into my bathroom.
Right.
But only the light. But there have been times when we, obviously looked and saw where kids parked a truck and went down and took some cones one time and things like that. But yeah. Hey, Les.
Hi, Leslie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Whatever reason, I was thinking we were meeting at the playing field.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, totally my error.
That's okay.
Anyway,
That's okay. So anyway, just really just kind of talking about got the shed at this point. I know that there's some soccer balls in there now as well, and they do the lining equipment for lining the fields, and so there's, yeah, John said there's mostly just maintenance, a couple shovels and things like that in there.
right.
The other shed in Kent Center School has a tractor, a garden tractor that was donated by Bruce Adams years ago, and it's stored in there, and has some rolling equipment, some other more field line equipment, measuring, a few more things, baseballs and stuff like that, soccers as well. So a lot of stuff is actually stored there, if not in the school. But yeah, there's some, so a little bit more equipment for the middle school, pitching machines and things like that. So a little bit more, but yeah, so I'm not sure. I think at this point, I agree with John, keeping the two probably right now is the best way. I think
Okay.
that's the recommendation. So.
Yeah, no, I see that. And I think, also the fields is those making those playable are the priorities. So
Okay, so
put our resources in there.
hey, Les, what can we
Yeah.
do with the fields itself? I mean, I know we have some money in the budget. I can't remember, 20 grand or something like that, or I don't know if that.
So,
covers
yeah,
it.
so this year's budget had 20,000 in it because we put the clay down on
Right,
the baseball field and the Little League field and the softball field. I'd have to check with Barbara to see what's left in there. And then, so what specifically, Marty, are we looking to do, I guess is my question.
Well,
So,
you went down there, so you saw, I mean, it's, the fields
Oh,
are
yeah,
just
I've been-
ripped to bits
Yeah.
by the birds, by the geese, and then some starlings and other things in there.
Yeah.
Looking to see what we could do to top dress or get that, I mean, obviously roll it. It's in terrible condition for kids to run on. As of now, there's no spring sports for middle school. I don't know, Park and Rec, why, if you've got some youth baseball or anything else, or softball or any
yeah,
other.
we're in the middle of making that decision.
Yeah,
so,
right. So either, the infields are in pretty good shape. That's one
Mhm.
good thing, but the outfield, especially where the Little League kids would play, that's really torn up.
Mhm.
Something would need to be done, but if there is no spring sports, it's a perfect time to get in there, try to do some topsoil, top dress, seed it. I did talk to the school. I talked to Bill Hurley. We're going to find the money. That's a nice thing about our school budget. We might have a little bit of money in there to fix the irrigation system, to get that up and running. I know Gary Moran, I think, had built the pump system out of the Housatonic and all that for it. And there's 7, I think, or 8 pumping, water sprinkling systems down there. And we have the hose reel. I think it's up in the barn. Rick's got that up in the town barn area. And so fixing that up and getting that ready to go so we could, again, water and get that field up would be a great priority for, if, the springtime, summer, and then into next year. So I don't know what monies are in the budget. What was a budget line for this year? Leslie, is there still money in there for next year's budget, I'm thinking?
So I'll have to check with Barbara to see what's left, because we haven't gotten a budget report in a little bit. So she'll be in today. I can check with her to see what's left in the current budget. Next year's budget, we just basically budgeted for the infield maintenance and then the pest management that we do.
Mhm.
So
What is the current pest
Turf.
management?
turf management, let me just pull this out from. So this is with New England Turf Management that we've used for a while. Doesn't mean we need to stay. Well, we have to stay with them for next year because we already contracted them for next year.
Uh-huh.
So they come 4 times a year to do balanced fertilizer. And then they do in the fall, they do lime.
Okay.
And then they do insect control in the early summer,
Oh, I see.
insect control in summer. And they do horticultural oil, whatever that is, in the early spring.
Yeah, those bees there by the infield are really bad. They dig right into the clay.
Ground bees.
My suggestion is we I would think we would roll it first. Miranda, have you had experience with that?
I mean, a little bit here and there is not something that I did a whole lot of, but yeah, I've seen it done with the park district that I had worked for before. But yeah,
Yeah, John, the sequence would be rolling and then top dressing and seeding. And then watering and, and the seeding would be a starter fertilization system that would obviously be in compliance with whatever Connecticut's park and rec rules are.
Yeah, no
But
pesticides.
that's, yeah, you're right, John. You have to roll it you want to put it, down first, the whatever sod you can, lock it in. That helps the seed grow. But at least that's my experience in my father's landscaping company. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess we just to look at, see what we could, what I know that's probably going to be costly,
Costly, yeah.
but yeah, we could always try to go. But the point here is that, and Leslie, I know you were big in helping make the decision that the town would take the fields over and quit this bickering we had sometimes between school and town and who did what and how much we did. But I think it's a great move to do that. Make it a Kent playing fields, because people use it and do use it when the school's out, and it's summertime. A lot. Geez, just the other day when it was 60-some degrees, there were like 40 or 50 people out playing basketball courts, running around the fields, frisbee. I mean, it was exactly. So let's make it the Kent, the Kent fields, town of Kent fields, and even a walk. At some point, again, this is a scope and sequence, but I can see, everybody kind of walks around anyway. So let's make it a little walking path. I mean,
Make it a more defined path.
exactly, more defined path, put a little, gravel down or something, and whatever you want to do, just so, kids and dogs and people can walk, because that's always a nice thing to do. And eventually down the line, see if we can't get the Kent school to give it to us.
Yeah, well, we've already went that route, Marty, and got
I know.
rejected. So,
I don't
yeah.
know. I new headmaster too. Maybe we can twist his arm.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
but really, if it's going to continue to be used, but anyway, even though if it's $1 a year, it's still put down there. Even look at how we lay out the soccer fields for the boys and girls team at Kent Center School. Kent Center, as I think I was describing to Miranda, just to remind everybody, when the region went to regional sports, and Leslie, you're aware of this, Kent overwhelmingly said we want to keep our autonomy for a little while to see how our kids are, and our numbers are staying pretty good, so that we'd field teams and so on. So the field is going to get used next fall anyway. Once I think if the COVID crisis kind of abates a little bit, we'll be back in sports. We're thinking on it anyway. So Kent will be fielding teams in baseball and I don't know about softball much anymore, but certainly in boys and girls soccer. So the fields will be used. We have the town soccer. That's a great program. I mean, we go down there quite often and watch the families play with the little kids. I'm sure Miranda, you'll be down there with your daughter and all that soon. But it's a great program. So making the field presentable, like you go to Sharon or you go to North Canaan or up in Cornwall, field up there. The town's got some decent looking fields, and I think it's a great thing for Kent to move on. But there's a lot to be done and so on. So anyway. But-
Leslie,
Yeah.
can you maybe take me through so I can understand a little bit better the budget process? Like, so is it a July fiscal
So,
year?
yes, it is a
Okay.
July fiscal year.
And so do we so this proposal I'm looking at for New England turf management was dated 12/2/2020. So this is probably for 2021.
Right.
So does then that come out of two budget years then? Like, how does that work?
No, so we had to have the quote for 21-22 in time to submit it when budgets were due. So this is for July 1st, 2021 through the next June.
Okay, so this will come out of
The
starting
next-
July 1st.
Right.
And we have, is that 20,000 allocated for July for that year?
So the 20,000 is in current budget that will expire at the end of June.
Okay, so do we know how much we have allocated for starting July 1st or?
Starting July 1st, we have this 3,850. And then we have the infield, the ball field, maintenance, the infields.
So,
Cover
and,
that.
and then that, in the memo that you sent, there was a total proposed budget line of 8,750. Is that that's the
That's
total?
the two things, yes,
So that's what we have for starting July 1st.
right.
We don't, okay. So if we want, like, you know, if we want to do more things, you know, we don't really have the money allocated for that, correct?
Right, right.
But we could split it between the,
Yeah, I mean, Park and Rec may have some money. You know, the commission would have to approve left over in this year's budget, and then there might be a little bit of money left in the playing field budget.
Okay,
And then, you know, Marty, if Board of Ed has a little bit, whatever, but.
Yeah, we can see that, certainly for the irrigation system. That was always something I wanted us to do, and we just got caught up with a bunch of other stuff last year. My
Yeah.
machine says I got 10 minutes left to do
Okay,
the meeting, so, but just give you a
So-
warning. But yeah, the school will do whatever it can, Leslie, and we feel
Okay.
strongly about that, at least I do. So, I know there's plenty of people on there that would help in whatever we can, so.
so would our-
Pardon me? Go ahead, Leslie.
would the playing field committee's next step be to recommend to the Park and Rec Commission? Or do we want, as a subcommittee, do you want to get some prices? Or even a price just to see what we're talking about?
I think
Uh,
that would be
Yeah.
yeah, the way to
wise.
go.
Yeah, that's the kind of
Yeah.
recommendation was
Yeah.
that we look at, next move was to look at New England and a couple of others and see what it would be to do that. And then, you know, if it has, you know, if we have to go to the board, finance in the town for special allocation, we've done, you know, that's happened before. I know it's gonna be
Right.
a chunk of money, but yeah. John? Did you-
I was just gonna say, we just concentrate on the soccer field if we could, and then work our way down to the end.
You know, the
and-
soccer fields though take up about all the other grass.
Oh, okay,
You know,
all right.
town soccer
But
field is between the softball and the middle school baseball field. The boys
Right.
soccer field, or the one soccer field is personally just outside that. And then the girls get kind of cockeyed down at the end, you
Right.
know, from the sewer plant area all the way down, sewer pumping station, all the way down to the tree, that cottonwood trees in the corner. So yeah, there's a lot of that. But again, you know, it's one or the other. The last thing is the bird nuisance too on that. I mean, if we're really going to do this, we probably need to think of the bird nuisance. Leslie, I don't know if you ever talked to Jenny, Jenny Craig. I should say it's my wife's cousin, Jenny Wilkins, or not Wilkins, but that's Barb.
Barbara's daughter.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Hmm?
Whoever we're talking about, we've never done anything about bird
Okay, I'm
nuisance.
thinking, God, come on, Marty. Yeah, shoot. It's my wife's cousin down here. Barbara used to, you know, be the clerk at the school, or the secretary at the school.
Oh,
Barbara.
her daughter.
Yeah, her daughter Jenny worked for
Jenny.
I think I mentioned to Miranda. Oh, I can't remember her last name, but anyway, I might be able to just email her and see if she would have some just recommendations that she could offer us. I know she's doing other things now, but she's worked all over I think she was in Guam and Colorado and, you know, Massachusetts and stuff, doing bird abatements at airports and things like that. So I certainly, you know, there's things we might be we might be able to do that would just be, you know, preventive instead of aggressive. Maybe just putting up that outfield Little League fence, John, to keep them from being able to fly in and out, and a couple flags on top of it or something in the winter, you know, the fall and winter when we shut it down might be something. But boy, it's, you know, it's just in terrible shape. Yeah, Miranda, I looked at it, it's just dug up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know, you know, I don't know a whole lot. I don't really know anything about geese and keeping them off fields, but it seems like, you know, they probably need a certain amount of space to take off and land. And so if you break that up, like if you have a series of fences and you break that up, then maybe they wouldn't like that spot as much as some other spot. I don't know. That's just a wild guess.
Exactly, that was
but-
my wild guess, but I know they have the whole land trust field where they go down, where, there's that little low area that's often got water in it, and they bug around there. Nobody really cares if they're down there, I don't think, but yeah, I think they just like being on the sod and digging up whatever bugs they can find there.
Mhm.
So, and I'll go do, Jenny Lynch, I'm sorry, it hit me. I'll just text Jenny and see,
Okay.
and explain to her, how's that, at least, and go from that area. But yeah, Leslie, if we can, get some, what do you think, John? A couple of thoughts on what they would have to do to kind of address that problem and clean up the fields and get them in some shape by next fall, maybe.
Yeah, and I'm happy to talk with, I don't know what the protocol is on this kind of thing, but I'm happy to talk with contractors to see if we can just get some quotes. Yeah, so I don't know how you guys usually go about that, or what the legality is there and how you do that, but I would be happy to reach out to some of, New England, maybe New England turf, and some that we've recently gotten quotes for, to see if we can expand a little bit, to not necessarily add on to the quote, but just see what pricing would look like for
Mhm.
the things we're talking about.
Yeah, that would be fine. Just, we're just getting a ballpark figures. We're not,
Yeah,
Ready, yeah.
however Leslie wants to handle that, that would.
but yeah, Miranda, if you have time to do that.
Yeah,
that would
sure,
be-
yeah. I mean, should I just copy the Kent Parks and Rec on everything, or is there, I just,
Yeah,
want
that
to
would-
make sure I'm meeting all the,
Yeah, the requirements.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
basically at this point, we've got to have an idea of what cost is going to be. So then,
Sure.
this committee can make a recommendation and bring that back to Park and Rec.
That's a good
So,
point.
okay,
Good
Yeah.
point.
um,
Okay. Anything else at this point?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just want to
Yeah.
let you know, because I guess it's starting to get out there. Last evening, or yesterday during the day, I gave my notice to the Board of Selectmen, and then I let the Park and Rec Commission know last night that I'll be leaving my position on April the 2nd.
John mentioned at the beginning, I wasn't going to say anything, because I'm thinking,
Yeah,
well, maybe
yes.
she didn't. Maybe she had a change of heart or something. Is this
Yeah.
just time, you think? Not to pry,
Um,
but I mean, obviously.
yeah. No, there are many factors that go into it. So
I got you.
yeah,
I gotcha.
personal.
Okay.
It's personal. So
Well, okay.
Mhm.
Well, you've been great. It's been, from my experience with you, from after school, the fields and all that stuff, it's been great working with you. So
thank
best
you.
of luck. Hopefully you're going someplace fun or doing something fun with the.
I'm going to be a grandmother.
Hey, congratulations.
Oh,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
the best thing,
That
let
is-
me tell you, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, thank you. I can't wait, especially because it's a granddaughter and I have 3 sons.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Perfect.
Honestly,
You
does it-
sound like my mom. She had 7 boys and a daughter,
wow.
but my sister died. And then all of us had girls, except for
Oh,
one
wow.
brother had one. So she was very happy for years.
Yeah,
So yeah,
Yeah.
well, congratulations and good luck with that.
thank you.
Do they
Don't
live
talk to
close?
Kathleen about that, Leslie, because Kathleen's dying for my daughter who's married to have grandkids, but they don't even live together. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But anyway, well, great. Well, all right. Well, anything we can do, at all helpful. Appreciate
Thank you.
Do they live close by, Liz?
I will be closer to them when I go.
Mm.
Yeah, because my grandkids are 3.5 hours away, so it's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That can be good too. I mean, especially with age.
No, not really, because you don't get enough time.
That's right. When they get old enough to be able to rake your lawn and
Mm.
Right.
mow the grass, it's one thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, if anybody has anything else, I think
Did anybody take notes? Do you want me to just put some minutes together?
put some minutes ago. I did record it. Darlene
Okay.
sent me the Dropbox
Yep.
place, so I
Alright.
can throw it in there. Yeah. So if you just want to take, you were here for all the business. We kind of were just kibitzing
Okay.
about John's lack of ligaments.
Lack of- Yeah. Okay. All right,
Hopefully,
sounds
wishing you
good.
best luck, John, getting back on your feet. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we're
All right,
about out of
so-
time. So,
Yep,
thank
and then
you.
we can plan to touch base and then get together again.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You got it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you all.
all right,
All right.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, what time is it?